Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you were expecting to see Julia Bushkova sharing with you yet another life hack on playing the violin. Instead, I have a message for you. Today, December 11th, is Julia's birthday, and so I decided that she probably would want some rest, peace, and quiet, and would enjoy her birthday. And so, not to worry about the violin channel or any new video entry. But for you, in the meantime, I have this quite interesting footage of Julia's interview when she worked at the Interlochen Arts Academy. She talks about her life, her relationship to the violin, her family, and these two different violin pedagogical approaches from, let's say, Soviet Union and American. So I hope that you find this helpful. At the end, I included her performance of famous violin piano sonata by Sergei Prokofiev, number 1. It is notoriously difficult work and also very depressing work. That's why I only included the first movement, so let's not spoil the birthday mood. But anyway, I hope you find this video entertaining and yet interesting, helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this channel, explore this channel, please. There's so many helpful videos there. And I promise you that next video you will see Julia herself.
I began playing the violin when I was 5.5. Also, of course, my parents, who promised to me that they will bring me a violin as a present for my 5th birthday, didn't do so. They thought it was like a child talk and everything, and so they forgot, they didn't take it seriously. And I was very upset. I come from a family of violinists, and that's true. All of them are violinists, and all of them, I mean my brother and my father and my mother, of course. And in that point, there wasn't my brother present in the scene because he's younger than me. But so I can't say even influenced so much by my parents. By that time, I didn't think of influence, of what influence is. I just lived in this world, and especially because all of my parents' acquaintances and friends, all were musicians, played one instrument or another. And so when I was little, I was kind of famous for my initial question that I will ask everyone who comes to the door: what is your name, how old are you, and what instrument do you play? And so sometimes there would be people that come that were not professional musicians, of course, but they would be so intimidated by this blunt question: what instrument do you play? From like a 3-year-old or whatever I was. So they would just think, what did I play at least at some point in my life? So they will tell me what they played, but I would get an idea that everyone plays and plays right now, and so there is just no other existence in the world other than playing. My parents, both violinists, as I said, had very different, and still continue having very different careers as violinists. My mother was always a soloist, a violin soloist, and played concerts, and also began to teach very early. She's very strict, and she's like very much together, and she knows exactly what to say, when, how. So if to make a parallel, kind of to jump into the present and to see how that influenced my teaching, because I teach in Interlochen Arts Academy now, I would say that probably 70% of my experience, 60–70% of my experience comes from sitting in my mother's lessons. And that was, as a matter of fact, the type of thing. I mean, I wasn't sitting there because I thought that one day I would teach, really. She was my role model in any area, in fact. And then there was my father, who was not a soloist, but he chose a career of orchestral player, orchestral violinist, and he played in the best Soviet orchestra, state symphony orchestra, that in fact just recently toured the United States, got rave reviews from New York Times. That's a good orchestra, obviously. In my teaching in Interlochen or in any other place, in fact, where I taught before a little bit, I'm staying pretty much with the Russian tradition, of course, as very close to how I myself was taught. Although I do have some not very big differences, but still comparatively to my own childhood. Just because I think, well, there are some things that you just experience yourself and think that maybe that will work better in your particular situation. So I do pay a lot of attention to technical matters with my students because, of course, everything that we teach, as I think, should serve the purpose of musical expression. It has to serve music itself. That's why. But violin is so difficult to start. Even anybody can observe that. When a little person first starts, to do this on piano, sound is already there. Maybe it's not very pretty sound, but it's still already sound of an instrument, and you can hear some melody. With violin, when they start, it's terrible. I mean, it's horrible. It's like all of that. So, because it's so hard to control, because it's so unnatural. I mean, piano position, for instance, again, it's so much more natural. You sit and you put your hands and like here, hand is here, another is here. This one does one thing with fingers, one function. This is absolutely different. But our hands are very much coordinated, and that's what we immediately notice when we start teaching someone. And then suddenly, oh, that's just disaster, how difficult it is to start. And when I say start, I don't mean just like first 3 months. To get through the difficulties of, for instance, getting the sound, just the pure clean sound, it takes years to control that, to learn how to control that. And I think that's a good thing about American style of teaching, and not only teaching, but just all around life, that people are cheerful and, supportive and an encouragement. With us, it's more of work. I was taught in a very, very simple and kind of as a matter-of-fact manner. I mean, I never would be praised myself from my teacher. In fact, the most praise that I could get would be, "Oh, that's okay. This is okay. Oh, let's go." So even though I was okay, well, of course in Russian we don't say okay, but it was, no, in fact, no, I'm wrong. Well, okay, I translated like this in English, but she would say, "It is decent." It's even basically less than okay, right, in English language. But with us it would be, she would say, "Well, this is decent. This is decent. Let's go further."